The Club Global wants you to keep your damn gun clean. What's cracking, guys? Right here again with the Club Global, teaching men around the world to be men of the world. And today we are talking about cleaning your gun. This is going to be part of a short series of how to clean guns. We're going to do a video on different guns. Alright, this particular video is going to be about semi-automatic rifle, particularly an AR-15. This is actually an AR-10. It's a 30 caliber AR, but the components are all the same, just they're a little bigger on this. The process is the exact same on an AR-15 that fires .223. Keep your gun clean. Alright, that's the important thing about this video. Alright, guns are fantastic tools. Alright, you can use them to harvest food for yourself. These things could save your life. Alright, just keep the thing clean. Alright, bring it to the range, get some practice with it. Alright, make sure that you are proficient in using this tool and keep it clean. Keep it running good. Especially, particularly an AR-15 or AR-10. These are very popular firearms today, especially in America. We love our damn ARs, right? ARs can be fickle beasts sometimes, though. All right, keep the thing clean. All right, you don't want it getting jammed up. You don't want it getting ruined over time, because just like any other mechanical device that has metal rubbing against metal, you're going to have friction. If you're putting rounds through your gun, there's friction. You got metal rubbing against metal, you have carbon buildup, and you have a lot of friction going on inside this thing. It will wear the parts down inside of your gun if you don't properly maintain it. And cleaning it routinely after use is an important part of that. This video, we're just going to go over a simple cleaning of the barrel and the bolt carrier assembly, alright, and some of the inside of the upper. We're not going to get into cleaning the trigger and pulling the carrier apart and cleaning all the parts of the inside of the bolt, firing pin, that kind of stuff. That'll be a different video. It's more detailed. This is just a real simple, after you put some rounds through it through the range, bring it home, clean your barrel, clean your bolt. Alright, you're good to go. So let's get into it. For the purposes of this video, we're just going to do a simple routine cleaning like you would do if you put a bunch of rounds through it at the range. We're going to clean the inside of the barrel. We're going to clean the bolt carrier assembly. We're going to clean the inside of the upper. All the parts that get friction, carbon buildup, wear and tear from regular fire. We're not going to get into the real nitty-gritty stuff like cleaning the trigger assembly, pulling apart the bolt carrier assembly, and cleaning the firing pin and all the parts inside there. That would be a more detailed video we'll do another time. For the purposes of this video, this is just a real simple strip and clean of the main components of the upper of the gun. So first things first, we're dealing with a firearm here. So we're going to go by our 4 rules of safe handling of a firearm. Alright, we're going to treat this like it's loaded. So let's assume that we think this gun could be loaded. So before we mess around with taking it apart, we are going to inspect that the inside is clear, visually as well as physically. Stick our finger inside there, can't feel a bullet in there. Alright, there is no magazine. This thing is clear. Alright, we're going to make sure to point the barrel away from us in a safe direction. Alright, we're not putting our finger inside the trigger. None of that. Alright, so this weapon is clear. We can disassemble this, start cleaning. Alright, disassembly of an AR is very simple. Okay, you have an upper and a lower, and there's just 2 pins that hold them together. Pull those 2 pins out, you can separate the upper from the lower. So let's do that. You see these pins on the front and the back here. You're going to push in on this side, and that pin pulls out on this side. And now this thing hinges on the front pin. We're going to do the same with the front pin. All right, push that down. Then we can pull the front pin out. Here you go. Now you have the upper removed from the lower receiver. We can set this guy aside. Make sure we take this bipod off here though. Right. This guy we don't need to worry about because we're not messing with the trigger assembly. Alright, now we have here our upper. Inside here is the bolt carrier assembly. This is where all the magic happens when you're firing the bullet. We're going to pull this guy out, we're going to clean it, and we're going to clean the barrel. Once we pull this out, we will have access to the barrel. We can run a snake through there, clean that guy out. So on an AR, to get this assembly out right here, you're just going to pull the charging handle back. And then this guy, once you have the upper removed, just comes right out like that. Pull your charging handle out, set this guy aside, and now we have the bolt carrier assembly right here. Inside here is your firing pin. This is what pushes on the primer in the back of the bullet that makes it fire. Now, normally if we were doing a real in-depth cleaning, we would pull this entire assembly apart, pull these cotter pins out and pull everything apart here and clean everything and the firing pin inside. But like I said, for the purposes of this video, we are just going to clean the carbon buildup off of this assembly and lube it up, put it back in. Now before we get down to cleaning our bolt carrier assembly, we are going to clean the barrel. Alright, this guy right here. We're going to run a barrel snake through there a few times, clean up that carbon buildup. See if we can see down inside of there. You can see all the way to the bottom of the barrel, the end out there. There's a little bit of crud built up in there from shooting it. We're just going to run a barrel snake through there a couple times, clean it out. Now I like these wire snakes right here with the lead on the end, but you can use just a normal, rod and plunger style one. Doesn't matter, as long as you got a snake that fits your barrel, you can push it through there and clean out that gunk. You are good to go. So with this type, you're going to take this the little weighted end here, slide it in through the barrel. Comes out the end right here, and you're just going to pull that snake all the way through the barrel. And we're just going to do that a few times. Make sure that thing is nice and clean. Alright, once you've run your barrel snake through here a few times, you're going to visually inspect the barrel from the backside. You're going to stare down there, see if you can see any dust or particles or any of that. I just visually inspected this myself. It is clean as a whistle. I can see it's all shiny and reflective all the way down. There's no particles or any grime or any kind of carbon buildup down the barrel. This thing is good to go. So now we are going to clean the inside of the upper assembly right here. All the parts in here that get friction from the bolt carrier assembly sliding up and down it and firing, we're going to clean all that out, and we're going to clean up any carbon buildup that's inside the back of the barrel here. So for this step, first I like to use a little bristle brush just to clean up the larger chunks of loose carbon buildup that's inside of here. You just brush that crap out of there. Alright, easy stuff. Just give it a good brush, get that larger chunks of stuff off of there. So that way we can go in with some cleaner and some cleaning patches after. We don't gotta worry about all the extra buildup gumming it up. Alright, you're gonna want a gun cleaner. I use this Hops 9 stuff. This is just simple crap. You can get it, any big box sportsman store. I think even Walmart probably sells this stuff, but works fine. It's cheap. You get a big old bottle for just a few bucks, and just get a little bit on a rag, clean that crap out of there. Make sure if you get any hairs or fibers that rip off the rag into the into where you're cleaning, you brush those out. You don't want any fibers or anything hanging on inside of your rifle, obviously. And just kind of look down in there. You'll see parts. You'll see parts of the inside of here that have rub and wear on them from the bolt sliding back and forth on it. Just, you know, pay some extra attention to those parts. Make sure that there's no flakes of metal or whatever on there. That's looking pretty clean inside of there. We're going to lube this guy up now. Now you want a metal lubricant. I use the Hops 9 stuff again. You can buy this stuff in kits. But man, any pretty high viscosity lubricating oil will be good for a gun. All right. I mean, you don't want to put like gear oil in it necessarily, but something that you just want to reduce the friction. All right. Think of it like an engine or any other mechanical part where you got metal rubbing against metal. All right. You're going to have friction and wear and tear over time. You want to keep it lubricated to help reduce that friction and help those pieces slide together, have a little barrier of lubrication in between them. That's all we're going to do. So you're going to see the parts inside of here that, you know, have obvious signs of rub and wear. So we're just going to take this guy and we're going to put a few drops in those areas and just give it a good lube down. Alright, the upper part of this rifle is clean, it is lubed, it's good to go. We're going to set this guy aside, and now we're going to work on our bolt carrier. Now, same deal with this guy. We're going to use our bristle brush, and we're just going to clean off the larger chunks of carbon buildup from this thing getting fired, alright? So that way when we go over it with the cleaner, we're not going to be gumming up, getting too much gummed up stuff on there. We'll just be cleaning off just some surface residue. Alright. Now, same thing as before. Alright. Gonna use your cleaner. Use a rag here. Just get this guy cleaned up. Alright, this thing's looking pretty good. Now, again, lubricate liberally. The bolt carrier, you're going to see a lot more obvious signs of rubbing and friction and wear and tear. You can just, honestly, just lube this whole goddamn thing down. Just, you know, give it a nice, generous coating. Alright. You're going to be fine. You're not hurting it. It loves it. This thing loves a good bath. Alright, feel free to pay extra attention to the parts where you see some bare metal from it getting rubbed on. You want this whole guy to be nice and slick. Alright, so it slides in and out of the upper of this firearm nice and easily. You don't want it getting hung up. You don't want it getting any excessive wear and tear, excessive heat from friction. Okay, you want it to move nice and smoothly. This guy's looking pretty damn good. Alright. Now, we are ready to put this thing back together. Alright, you got your upper, we got your charging handle. Inside of this, there is a little groove right here that you're going to line up with these little dimples that are about an inch past the end of the charging handle. Alright, put this guy in there like so, and it locks right in there. That's the channel it wants to be in. Alright, once you have it in that channel, you can take your bolt assembly and just slide it right inside of there. Look at that. Back together. Good to go. Alright. Now you can reattach this to your lower. Just line up the little holes of these pins. I find it easier to put the front in first. lock the pin in, and then you can just clamp this guy down on the back. There we go. And this guy is good to go. Cycle it a few times, make sure it cycles smooth, and you're all set. Man, that's it. That's cleaning the AR. All right? They're fantastic machines. All right? They're very simple, very easy to maintain. They're reliable. All right? It's America's favorite rifle for a reason. Sting Fighter's great. They're fun to bring to the range. All right? They're awesome. Just keep the thing clean. All right? Bring it to the range, get practice, be proficient. All right? But keep it clean. And this goes for all guns. We're going to do videos on handguns, shotguns, bolt-action rifles, okay? But the main thing about all of them is keep your firearms clean. Can't stress it enough. It's probably the second most important part of firearm ownership, aside from knowing the 4 safety rules for handling a firearm. After that, it's make sure you maintain your firearms, because non-maintenance of your firearms can be dangerous. All right, if your weapon is all gunked up with all kinds of carbon from putting thousands and thousands of rounds through it, all right, this can cause problems when you fire it. You could have issues with trying to discharge rounds. You can have issues with maybe even carbon lighting on fire from getting built up. There's all kinds of issues you can run into with it. Keep it clean. All right. So with that, this is Ray signing out.